Alright, we're gonna try to get the ultimate Valby enhanced cell blueprint while I get to yapping. Here we go. Let's go way back to the end of my 5th grade. I just transferred schools to a completely different school because I live way closer there now because as growing up my landlord wasn't very nice. Didn't really care about our situation. So we were forced to move. We found a new place that we stayed there for years. I don't even know how long. But we were there for a while. And I transferred halfway through, or at least mostly through my 5th grade year. So all the friends that I've known, everything, I had to do a whole reset. And that going to that school, which was definitely less, like, I don't know if privilege is the word, but it wasn't as well. The school I went to first wasn't very high end, but this school, if that one wasn't very high end, then the one I went to now was just broke as shit. And it was there that I learned that I was actually a really smart kid growing up. I don't know if like what the correlation is, but the students I think were just not as smart as the students in my old school, which is where I found out that I was actually pretty smart growing up as a kid. And then going into middle school, I had to walk or take the bus to school. It was usually like either or, depends. Every day it was pretty different, I think. But I had to find a way to school, which was either a 40-minute walk, or I think I had to take like two separate buses to get there. And this is my first year of 6th grade. I was like 12 years old, 11 years old, something like that. In middle school, I didn't know yet, but I got like automatically put into the advanced classes where all the smarter kids were. And I don't think everyone told me that when I first went there. But either way, that school I transferred again after like a month or so to another one that was closer to my house again. So all the people that I was getting to know, getting used to for a month, I had to reset again too. So at this new school, it's been a month, so everyone's like starting to form their groups. Everyone's talking to their friends from elementary school and all that. And some of the people that I knew went to that school, but I didn't know them that well because it was the very end of 5th grade where I like barely met them. Like I said earlier, I was pretty smart as a kid, so at some point, I don't know, maybe it was like after a week or whatever, but I was just in class. Usually did all my work faster than everybody else. I would just finish and I would just be sitting there doing nothing while everybody else was still working because the work wasn't as challenging to me. It's not that everybody was dumb, I was just above average at the time, at the age. And so I don't know how long it took or like when it was, but at some point I was just in class, literally in the middle of class. I think, staring into space doing nothing because I was already done with my work. And someone pulled me like outside the classroom and took me to a whole new class mid school. Like it was the middle of the period or the block or whatever that we used. It was the middle of class, and it just pulled me out and put me into a different class. It was like the way it worked was there's like teams of teachers, and everybody had like it was the same group of teachers. It's just that the homeroom teacher was different, and so my homeroom teacher just changed to the advanced students' homeroom teacher. So now I just mid class left everybody, went to the advanced class. So how it was like I had 3 teachers, one for English, one for math, one for science and social studies or history, whatever it's called. It's not important. But so there was the 4 main subjects, which one teacher taught 2 at a time because it's really not that hard. And then there were other things like lunch, gym. Actually, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly how my schedule was, but I know at the beginning of the year I had art, and that is where I met this girl. Let's call her Belle. like the Disney princess. In art, since everyone has their groups and everything, like I said, I I was behind everybody. Everyone had their groups ready. Everyone was at a table. So I just sat at a table by myself because I don't know anybody. And then at the table next door, a very social girl called me over. It was like, yo, come here, come, you want to sit with us? And I was like, alright, bet. So I went over and I sat down with them. And at that table was where Belle was sitting. So I was talking to everybody, getting to know them and all that. Because I was a new kid after a month and everything. So I was like, everyone's like starting to get to know each other, and then here comes some new kid. So everyone wants to know the new kid now too. So I started talking to everybody over there. And I think it was probably me, because being told all that about me being in the advanced classes, the honors classes, whatever, all of it, gave me a huge, like, a confidence boost, made me feel so much better about myself. So I think with that confidence boost, I asked for Belle's Snap, and this is like when Snapchat was super popular. I asked for her Snap, and I got it, and we were talking a whole lot out of school, in and out of school, during lunch, things like that. And the friend group that I had at the time, we had like a whole like a running joke kind of thing, because then everyone had, like, is interested in like love and other things that people do at the adolescent age of around 12, 13 years old, 11, things like that. Everyone was interested in all kinds of things. So I was not the only one who was looking for a girlfriend or anything. So we made like a whole thing where whoever had a girlfriend first, she would be the first lady of the table. And the way I asked out my first girlfriend, I told her how, like, the way it worked and all that. The whole I gave her the lore behind like our table and the terminology. And the way I said it, I said it was so weird. I was like, so do you want to be the second lady? That's one of the, oh my god, just saying it, I'm cringing just saying it again. I mean, at least I didn't say it last time. It was a text message. I didn't mention that. It was a text message. I texted her if she wanted to be the second lady. That is so cringe. I'm like, I'm getting all weird thinking, like, just like squirming in my chair thinking about it. But I did that, and to my surprise, she said yes. And that's where it started. Middle school, 6th grade. That interesting way to ask somebody out. I had my first girlfriend at like 12 years old. And of course, since now we are dating, we want to spend more and more time together. So I joined her after school program so we could spend more time with each other. And they went on like field trips, we did a whole bunch of like projects, and it was really fun. Like just after school activities. And then I took a bus home, we sat together on the bus, and that's it. It was something like that pretty much every day. And I'm pretty sure I was satisfied with the way it was working out. I don't know if she was, like, she wanted more or anything, because I know she was like a super shy girl. She was really quiet, things like that. She wasn't like confident in herself, and it's middle school, so everybody's like going through like emotional phases and everything, so she was confused emotionally and all that. I don't think I was, because I was just I was a simple kid back then. Now let's fast forward to like a couple months. We've spent a lot of time, I'd say in and out of school, like over the summer and on field trips and all that. We spent a lot of time together. And I'm over time she was giving me less and less attention, which was like it was just weird to me because I've known her for so long and she's like starting to disconnect a little bit. So I started saying like dumber and dumber things because I just wanted her attention, I think. I know we went on this field trip to like a science like place, and I remember we were in a stairwell, and I remember joking like, yo, imagine falling from here. And the look of like disgust, shock, I don't even know what word to express that look. She looked at me so pitifully. That was the only thing I really remember of that day. Besides that, and she was talking to other people more than she was talking to me. And that was really, oh shit, that was really just confusing to me. Maybe I took her for granted and I assumed she would always like only care about me and things like that. It was really selfish, and it was super egotistical to think that I was the only one that she would spend time with in her life. And yeah, I kept doing more and more like same dumber and dumber things just to win back her attention. And at some point, I think during a text message after we got off the bus together, she texted me saying that we were gonna break up. And I didn't take it seriously. I just kept replying like, "Oh, LOL, like that's crazy." I was just not accepting reality, which is, like I said, I think I took it for granted, so I assumed she was just playing. She wanted, because she often was like, I just wanted to see how you would react. So I thought she was trying to get a reaction out of me by saying that. And I was not taking it seriously at all. And then even her friends started texting me like, yo, she's not like trying to be funny, she's actually saying it. And I was like, oh, I don't remember if I truly felt it, but I'm pretty sure I told her friends like, oh yeah, that's fine, I just don't want her to feel bad about doing it. Or I wasn't taking it for an answer, or I was accepting the end of it. So if she thought I was annoying or whatever, then it's better than her feeling bad for me. I think it was something along those lines that I said. I don't remember if I truly felt that. Anyway, fast forward again a couple more months, and I get back in touch with her. And I don't think I was trying to get back with her yet. But since she was the only person I kept in touch with outside of school, she was the only person I could consider a friend still, like really. So I would keep like bothering her. I was like spamming memes and like pictures of like anime. It was so bad. It was really bad. Looking back now, I realized it was just completely annoying. I don't know how she put up with me, because this went on for months. I think at one point she blocked me. Maybe after like a year, or when like over some summer, some long break, I think she blocked me. And then that was it. I just kept bothering her, pestering her until she blocked me. I was pretty much isolated from society. Well, not society, but like I wasn't talking with anybody other than my family until high school, which I then met up with her again in high school, because since we went to the same middle school, the same high school was also the closest for both of us. So we talked again in high school, like catching up, like how's it been going since the break, things like that. And I think that was when I thought she was attractive again, because I was actually talking to her face to face. So I saw her again, and we built up another like face-to-face connection, I'd say. And then since we had our history, I assumed it would be easy again to get back with her because I liked her again. And I think at the time she was with another man now, and I she was always complaining about something. So I was like typical like instigating. I was like, "Oh, damn. I would never do that if I was your man." Shit like that. And that just went on for another while. And then I I don't remember if she thought of like accepted it as just a bad joke or just my new sense of humor or whatever. But at some point I think we built up another connection to be called friends again. But then I kept saying increasingly more outlandish things, as I said before, where I think I was just saying like some freak shit. I was just getting more and more. I don't remember if I think I was just saying increasingly more and more sexual jokes or like romantic innuendos, and it wasn't funny. Like I don't know. I think I was just desperate for whatever reason. So yeah, I was just saying crazier and crazier, more outlandish things until she blocked me again, and then at some point there she unblocked me, and then again like a year later, rinse and repeat, the exact same thing that happened the last time happened again, except I believe it took a little bit longer because at that point I had a job and I was like more mature as a person. But my excuse was that talking to her makes me feel like the same idiotic 11, 12-year-old boy I was when I was with her. That was my excuse, which is a terrible excuse. If excuse is even the right word, but I got 18, so I'm gonna keep going while this talks. I'm gonna keep talking while this goes. I mean, I can't even talk anymore. But yeah, rinse and repeat. She blocked me again, and I honestly at this point I can't even blame her because how many times am I gonna keep doing the same thing? I'm only talking. Wow, that is crazy. There we go. We got Blair and this. That's crazy. We got another one. That's fine. But I can't blame her. How many times do you have to tell the same person the same things and he just doesn't, he just keeps doing it. He keeps doing it. I would be fed up too. And honestly, if I could rewind time and go back and do things differently, I wouldn't. The only thing I would change would be the way I spoke. I would talk with way more respect, like not only for her but for myself. I would talk like a human being. I wouldn't be weird about it. But I'm not gonna try to change my past and stay with her now. I don't think we'd work together very well anymore. I'm sure she's tired of me. I don't I wouldn't say I'm tired of her, but I wouldn't say I care much for her anymore. Like not in a bad way, but like I'm indifferent towards her. There were parts of her in school I didn't know about, and most of my friends don't like her because of those parts, but I never saw those parts, so it doesn't hold too much weight to me. I'm not gonna not like someone because my friends don't like them, but I'm not gonna force myself to like someone just because I used to like them. I'm not gonna force myself to find things to keep liking. So she's definitely done with me. I'm done with her, and we live and move on. And that's all I gotta say though. So that's it. Yap session over.